Hey, good morning, guys. Um, Once again, my baby is not wanting to nap, so I might have to run out of here. But I wanted to hop on this morning. I did not make a video yesterday, and that was very deliberate, me not making a video yesterday. I've been ever more aware of my personal growth journey and my emotional growth journey, and when I'm in that space, I really want to be with that space. And I talk a lot about honoring the struggle in my blog posts and in my videos because I think that that's essential in order for you to become the kind of person that you want to become, that you aspire to become. So that's what I've been doing, is honoring my struggle and living my own hero story, which is not easy. And I've talked about the subject matter of this video before, but it felt like just the appropriate thing to share again and to remind you guys. So I get a lot of messages on a regular basis of people being like, you're so inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you so much for sharing your videos. I'm just so inspired by you and by your fitness journey, but also your emotional journey and how you share that. And I love receiving those messages. It's always really touching for me when someone reaches out and says that to me, and I know that my story is making an impact on them on some level, and that's powerful because it's my personal belief that the reason that we are incarnated in a body on this planet, the sole purpose of us being here is to be with each other and to grow through each other. For me, relationships are the entire point of being alive. The entire point of being alive is not to make $1 million. The entire point of being alive is not to be the top person in your career. The entire point of being alive is that you get to have relationships with other souls, and you get to feel fulfilled through your relationships. And those relationships happen at home, they happen at work, they happen everywhere. But the point of being alive is to experience relationships and to experience yourself in reflection of those relationships and to grow the relationship and yourself. That is the point of being alive, in my perspective. That being said, the reason people reach out to me and are sharing with me that they're inspired by my journey is for the reasons that no one wants to hear. It's for all the unsexy stuff. Because let me tell you, living an inspiring life is super unsexy. It is definitely not glory and glam and unicorns and butterflies. That is not what living an inspiring life looks like. I think a lot of people think that an inspiration is someone who has hit the top of their career ladder and is making X amount of money, or has a six-pack, or has their life perfect, but it's not. It's really not. In order for you to live an inspiring life, a life that other people can look at and say, wow, I'm so inspired by your journey, you have to be so real. You have to be so raw, and you have to be willing to be that person and to share that with the world. And it's hard. It's hard work because we get so in our heads about how we're supposed to be, or how we're supposed to be perceived, or how, our lives are supposed to go, or the path that we were supposed to be on. And we get really caught up in that. And it takes us away from sharing who we are authentically with the world. People are inspired by authenticity. That's it. When you are being who you are, your quirky, weird ass self with all of your imperfections and all of your tears on live video like me yesterday, and all of that, people care. People are moved by that. They're inspired by that because that's real life. That's real life. We all cry. We all struggle. We all have those days where we feel like the entire world took a dump on us. That is life. That happens. But we also have so much joy that we experience together. Those of us who have children know the joy of having a child and what that does to you. You know, the joy of having a pet that you love, the joy of being with family. These are things that are universal, and they're all relationship based, and they make an impact because, from my perspective, that's the entire reason we're here, is to build relationships. So if you're asking yourself, like, if you look at my story and you're inspired by my story, that's what I do. That's who I am. That's the commitment I have made to myself, is to do the things that other people don't want to do, to be authentic in the way that other people are afraid of being. You know, and that goes with my fitness journey too. When people were like, man, I'm so inspired by your fitness journey. I'm like, do you know why you're inspired by my fitness journey? Because I do it even when I don't want to do it. I work out even when I don't want to work out. When I don't feel like I have an ounce left in my tank, I show up and I push play and I do that shit anyways. Because that's life. And you know what taught me that? Parenting. You don't get any days off from parenting. You don't get any breaks when you're a parent. You have to show up to your kid day, night, afternoon, rain, shine. It doesn't matter. If they need you, you have to show up because you're a child and they can't do it for themselves. And I had no idea what the word like sacrifice and commitment meant until I became a parent. Now I know. So when I say that you show up for your child whatever it takes, I take that same level of commitment and I apply it to my fitness journey. I apply it to my health journey. I apply it to my marriage. I apply it to my friendships. I show up as much as I possibly can to every single one of those things because that matters. And you show up even when you don't want to show up, okay? It is very comfortable to just be like, you know what, today I just want to sit on my couch and not do anything. But if you've been doing that for the past 3 months in a row, that's not a rest day. That's a inertia. That is a problem that you have to overcome in order to create change in your life. And so when people look at me and say, I'm so inspired by your journey, that's what they're inspired by. They're inspired by the fact that I show up even when I don't want to show up. That I'm posting even when I don't want to post. That I'm sharing the things that are difficult, not the things that are glamorous in my life or shiny. I share everything. I share the great things and I share the shitty things because that is life. Life is not a highlight reel. It is real. And so that's me. And that's how I share. So if you are inspired by that, then that's it. That's the message for you guys. Like if you want to live an inspiring life, good morning, Jen. If you want to live the kind of life that other people are inspired by, if you want to help other people really make a difference, then you start being authentic. Start sharing yourself, who you really are, as you are. Don't edit yourself. Don't filter yourself. Be who you are because that's what people want to see and that's what people are inspired by. Show up even when you don't feel like showing up and talk about that. Talk about why you don't want to show up, but you're doing it anyways because you know it's important. Be you and show up as you. Don't show up as a version of you that you imagine people want to see or want to experience because that is not inspiring, you guys. That is not it. So living an inspiring life, being the kind of person that other people are moved by, inspired by, once again, I'll drill this home. It's very unsexy. It's not glamorous. It's not shiny. It's not a highlight reel. All it is showing up when you don't want to show up. All it is being who you are, even on the days when you just want to put a blanket over your head and crawl into a hole. That's what this is. Because the world needs people to show up. And this is like a universal message. If you're listening to this, it's because you needed to hear it. Yeah, Jen, exactly. The world needs people to show up. The world does not need people to start crawling into holes just because they're having a bad day. You don't get to do that. If you came here to change the world and you came here to serve and you came here to be a light worker, then show up. Show up every single day. Be consistent. Be consistent. Don't drop off. Don't drop off with your service. Don't drop off with your love. Don't get lazy in your marriage. Don't get lazy raising your kid. Show up. That's important. Feed your body, feed your spirit, feed your mind, whatever you need to feed it in order for you to be able to show up. But show up because that's what inspiration is about. And this is the side of things that people do not see. They do not see. They just see the great things. They just imagine that there are great things, but they don't think about the sacrifice, the commitment, the level of dedication that went into creating that level of inspiration. So that's my message for you guys this morning. Show up everywhere in your life. Show up with intention. Show up with love. Show up with courage. Show up and be deliberate about your life. Don't let your life just be a passing by situation. Don't let things just go with the flow. Be deliberate about your words, about your presence, about the way that you love people, about the way that you support people. Be deliberate with everything that you do. I guarantee you that is the key to living an inspiring life. Be authentic and be deliberate. All right? Have a great one. Love you guys.